One phrase that I've had to really try to integrate lately, which is a new phrase that God's given me, is you need to care about yourself. You need to care about yourself before you care about other people. So God is saying that is actually a natural trait of narcissists, is that they care about themselves over other people, and they will always prioritize themselves over other people. So God's actually saying, like, us empathetic people need to become more narcissistic. But he's saying the difference between like a narcissist and an empath is that narcissists will prioritize themselves over like other people's like, and they'll like hurt people to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll intentionally harm people. They'll intentionally like be rude to you. They'll intentionally put you down. They'll intentionally abuse you. They'll intentionally manipulate you. They'll intentionally do all this stuff to prioritize themselves. Like he's saying like my ex with his drug addiction, how he, would do all these things, and we would constantly have conversations. Like I was like, you got to stop spending money. You got to stop smoking so much weed. You got to stop. Like I had to parent him, do all this stuff. And he just continually would like not listen to me and just keep spending money and just like do what he wanted to do, 2, 3, 4 on the clock. And he like wouldn't consider me at all. And like, so he, like God's saying like, that's where it's like, he prioritized himself over me the entire relationship. And he did that his entire life to everybody, but he's totally, that's the thing about narcissists is they're delusional because they're convinced that they're the opposite. Because they have to convince themselves that they're the opposite because they don't want to face the fact that they're not like that. Us, on the other hand, us empaths, we know that we are kind and caring and empathetic. Like, we know we're doing the right thing. We are beyond a shadow of a doubt that we're doing the right thing. So when we prioritize ourselves over other people, we're actually doing the right thing because we're conserving our energy and we're pouring into our own cup so we can still pour into people. If we have to walk, all we're doing is like walking away from people. We're like, you know what? I have to take a step back with my energy here. I have to do this, We're not like, manipulating people or not communicating with people or prioritizing unhealthy behaviors, right? Because that's like what my ex would do. He would prioritize unhealthy behaviors. I'm prioritizing healthy behaviors by like retracting my energy or putting up boundaries or doing like these things that are actually like really hard for us to do. That is not natural to us. It does not come natural to us to be narcissistic. It does not come natural to us to prioritize ourselves. It does not come natural to us to be selfish, right? And like, that's the thing is like, that I've really needed to get over is like, I'm not being selfish here. I'm just like, I know all you fuckers, you're dealing with this shit too. Cause I know you guys are really, really empathetic. And we have a problem, guys. We have issues with this. That's why God's like, you need to get used to this. Like, you need to like, because God's saying you guys are not being selfish. He's like, being selfish is what I've shown you all your life. That's why he's shown all of us Lightworkers, like what selfish actually looks like. That's why he's like, I put these people in your life to show you what selfish actually looks like. So when you have to start being selfish, right, which is just conserving your energy, not allowing certain people in your space, not allowing people who don't have the same principles of integrity as you, distancing yourself from people who don't have like the same kind of idea of life right now, aren't in the same reality, that kind of thing. He's saying a lot of Lightworkers feel selfish when they do this. But he's saying that's not selfish at all. That is prioritizing yourself. That is self-love. What narcissists doing is self-sabotage. It's not self-love to like manipulate people and not listen to them and prioritize yourself as far as financially, or prioritize yourself like in a way that's like, if you're in a relationship with somebody else and you're like, and you're not being a partner fully, or like my dad, like he just, again, is so self-absorbed with just himself, and he only cares about himself, and he wants to throw us all under the bus. We're all causing him problems, and we're all big burdens to him all of our lives, and he can't stand that he has to pay for all of us and do all this shit, and it's like, instead of being, like, we'll figure this out together, like, how can we work together to do this, like, kind of a thing, he's, like, created this, like, really toxic, individualistic type of, like, environment where he financially abuses us. Like, we owe him something because he is financially providing for us, right? And like, same thing with my ex. Like, he felt like I owed him like my energy because he was healing. And it's like, no, bro, I don't owe shit to anybody. That's the craziest part that I've learned. But as a light worker, I've always felt like I owed people my loyalty, my obligation, my compassion. Same with my ex-friend. she was in a really toxic situation and she ended up getting out of it, but she was still repeating toxic behaviors after getting out of it. And I was like, done. I was like, you know what? I supported you and I stood by your side, and I'm really glad you got out of this and you're improving, but guess what? You're still not at my level. Even with the way that you've improved, right? Same thing with my ex. He still wasn't at my level. So it's like, I'm sorry. I have to cut losses. You guys are now bringing me down because now I constantly have to go into your reality where it's toxic and unhealed that I've already gotten out of. So I cannot take on your karma anymore. And I'm sorry. I can't do it. And get away. And so, of course, I felt selfish doing this. I felt so selfish. I was like, I'm a horrible friend. I'm not forgiving. I'm not loving. I'm not caring. I'm not being forgiving enough, all this stuff. But it's like, no. I'm actually being so loving and caring and forgiving by letting them learn their own lessons. Because by me staying around and constantly lifting them up, they were not learning their lessons. Because the only way you can learn sometimes is through pain, is through suffering. I had to learn. That's all I learned was through pain and suffering. So for me, it's like, but that's the thing that we try to do, is we try to prevent that, because that's how we all learned. We all learned through pain and suffering. So we try to stop people's pain and suffering. But by doing that, we're not allowing them to learn through pain and suffering. So then we're taking on their pain and suffering so they don't have to feel it. But then we're feeling it. That's the problem that I've learned. Is that if people are in pain and suffering, I'm sorry, sometimes you got to get the fuck away from them. If they keep putting you in fucking cycles and they're not helping themselves, you have to walk away from those people. You cannot help them. They have to feel their own pain and suffering to change, because that's the only thing that causes change sometimes. And if you keep allowing them in your life and you keep uplifting them and you keep giving the advice for them to stop feeling pain and suffering, and they are not stopping and they keep allowing themselves to go into pain and suffering, and you've already told them like 15 times what to do to not feel pain and suffering, well, then you're taking that on. Now you're leaking your energy, is what God calls it. It's like a little, like a leaking tire. You got to patch that shit up and you got to get away and let them feel it, because that's God saying, like, people need to awaken right now. So the only way people can awaken sometimes is through pain, is through suffering, is through the lack of that comfort that they have from you, that advice that you always give them. It's like, that's the thing that they keep coming to us. They keep coming to us like we're drugs. Like, okay, well, Lauren will make it good because she'll make me feel better about it. She'll help me rationalize this. She'll help me give the light, give my, kindness, compassion, caring to me, and then I'm gonna feel really good and my battery's charged, and then I'm gonna go fucking repeat those nasty, toxic behaviors, and then I'm gonna come back to Lauren, and it's gonna be the whole same cycle. And it's just be that over and over. That was what it was with my friend, and my ex, and everybody I've ever been around. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, I've always had to, hold, I just realized that I was the light holding up everybody, and I was the one in the most pain and suffering, and I'm like, okay, that's what makes us light workers, different. That's all I've realized, is I'm very different from any person I've ever interacted with in my entire life, except for here on the internet, which is insane. Insane. But that's just, that's why, I believe so much that this is going on because of this community and, my own personal experiences in life of, not being able to meet anybody who can meet me where I'm at and being so confused by it. Because I'm like, well, that's, because it also made me start to panic, because I was like, well, but this is how everybody has to be. So, how am I not meeting one single person that's like me? If this is how we're supposed to be. I always had that awareness of, well, but we're all supposed to, stand up for the right things and, give up things to, make this place better and, be good people. So when I kept running into people that weren't like me, it started to make me panic, because I'm like, oh my God, nobody in this world is like me. So, what does that mean? That's not good, because it's supposed to be the opposite, where everybody's supposed to be like me. So how am I supposed to live in this society and I can't even find one of me? Thank God I found you guys. Oh my God. Again, the Lord, he always, his timing, everything. He does things in a certain way. So, and I know a lot of you guys can relate to this. You guys have had to lose so much in your lives, and you've been through so much more pain and trauma than people in your life, and you still are, have your integrity and your morals and your principle. And it's just so confusing. It's very painful. It's very, very painful to exist like that and be confused all your life. So I hope my channel can help some people out there who have just been so fucking confused and what the hell? Nothing's wrong with you. This is just the way it all was designed. And now it's time for all of us to get together and start to heal and reflect on our lives, that we weren't as crazy as we thought we were. And, people did come up against us because this is just what we had to be in this density with these young souls like this. So we had to take it on. That's what we agreed to.